Now we're going to be looking at what can be done for some of those countries that are already at the forefront of changing weather systems. The Philippines is the country that is one of the most at risk in this respect. What we're now going to hear from is the mayor of Guiuan, who at the time in 2013, when Typhoon Haiyan hit, was hailed as a hero for his fast response to getting those under his jurisdiction to safety. And we'll also be hearing from Andre Koumaker, Program Director for ACTID, a French NGO providing humanitarian relief and promoting sustainability. So I'd like to invite on stage Mayor Sheen Gonzales and Andre Koumaker. I would have expected more of a response for somebody who did so much to save so many lives under so much pressure. Mayor Gonzales, have any lessons been learned since then in terms of disaster preparedness?
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, during the time, a lot of work has been done. A lot of systems has been done. And at 34 years old, and a 4-month-old mayor during the time, it was so hard. Just to save thousands of lives. You know, my place, Guiuan, is located in the eastern part of the Philippines. It is the entry and exit point of most of the typhoons. We are even the first landfall of the Typhoon Yolanda, Typhoon Haiyan, during the time. And with that typhoon that happened in our place, you know, a lot of people died during the time. And in terms of infrastructure, building infrastructure, the building now is much stronger. And I should say, with special thanks to the Build Back Better of the national government, with the leadership of our President Aquino and the Interior Secretary Marroas during the time, to the updated Building Code of the Philippines also. We have to thank the international organizations that give a lot of work, a lot of system to make some techniques in building communities and building Build Back Better. And financing climate solution also is a big problem in our place. But with the mandate from the national government to the local government, we are giving budget, a certain budget to climate change mitigation and climate change adaptation. So no matter how big the budget or how small the budget is, as long as you tend to put a budget, whatever buildings you will build, whatever road you will make, you must have a certain enough budget for climate change mitigation and adaptation. That is what we call in the Philippines the climate change tagging. Now, as the head of my town, as the mayor and the first receiver of Typhoon Haiyan, I would like to tell you that it's so hard. It's not easy to be a victim of typhoons. And I am here today appealing and willing to support the aim of the COP21. It's not yet too late, and it is so hard to imagine being a victim of a super typhoon, and we know that it costs a lot. And I mean, it is because of the climate change happening to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Gonzales. A really heartfelt explanation as to why everything that is being done here at COP21 is so important, the real-life effects it has on those communities that are caught up in in the changes that are being enacted by the greenhouse gas emissions and the levels of carbon in our atmosphere. I'm now going to pass on to you, Andrej Krumaka. You work for ACTED. You've worked all around the world working with disaster preparedness. What role do organizations like you play in all of this?
Okay, thank you. Before I go into this, let me tell you a story of two women that I've met in the Philippines. The first person I would like to introduce to you is Yolanda, quite a devastating character who has brought suffering and devastation all over the Philippines. Of course, Yolanda is not the name of a woman, but it's the name of a Category 5 super typhoon that devastated the Philippines 2 years ago. The Philippines are actually quite used to severe climatic events. However, in recent years, they have increased in frequency and in severity due to climate change. Yolanda killed more than 6,000 people, 7,000 actually, destroyed more than 1 million homes and left 4 million people homeless. I arrived in Guiuan, that is the place where our mayor is coming from, and that was hit first by the typhoon, 5 days after the typhoon. Apart from the suffering and the devastation, what struck me most were the 42 million coconut trees that were destroyed and were lying on the ground like giant dominoes. Coconut is actually the main source of income in Guiuan. The people call it the tree of life because they can do anything out of a coconut tree. Different types of food, medicine, furniture, even some sort of clothes. But now all these trees were destroyed and lying on the ground. So, what to do for the people, because the people in Guiuan are dependent on coconuts. This is their main source of income. So the only option is adaptation. And how to adapt in Guiuan or in the central Philippines? Well, one option is to adjust the agricultural production system to become more climate smart. And Filipinos are incredibly smart already. Just remember what they can do with a coconut tree. So now they just need to become climate smart. So 2 years later, 2 years after Yolanda, I've met another woman called Angela. Quite a strong character, very determined and incredibly good in adaptation. For generations, her family has grown coconut trees, has cultivated coconut trees. Yolanda destroyed all of them. She was absolutely desperate. She didn't know what to do. But she was able to bounce back. She joined a group that trains farmers how to grow climate-smart and climate-resilient root crops like cassava or sweet potatoes. And like Angela now, many, many Filipinos are learning new skills and are adapting to climate change. What I want to say and how I want to conclude is that this adaptation process, to be successful, it's a process involving many, many stakeholders. Of course, the farmers themselves, the communities, civil society like NGOs, private sector, media, the governments. All of them have to come together. It's a collective process. But there is a problem. These actors have very often different ideas and views on how to go about climate change adaptation. And this is where civil society, like NGOs, can play a role. Basically, they can play the role of a converger, bringing the different ideas of the actors together and channeling them into the right direction so that they impact and build the solution for people who are most affected by climate change. Angela is the farmer. She's part of the solution. Mayor Gonzales is part of the solution as a representative of the local government. I, as a worker, as an aid worker, I'm part of the solution. You are representing the media. You are part of the solution. We are all part of the solution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Andrej Krumaka from ACTED and Mayor Sheen Gonzales from Guiuan in the Philippines. That's a really hopeful note to end on. We are all part of the solution. Everything that we can offer, all our outlooks, all our experiences, all our training can be put together to be channeled to deal with this global problem. Thank you all very much for being here. Here concludes the end of session 2, engagement.